Learning to learn is a novel concept. If we accept the mere fact of learning advanced functions is not a hardwired trait, then it makes sense that we should first teach someone how to learn if we want them to be successful. So, let's learn how to learn. First, we need to know how learning is stored so we can ensure that we use teaching methods that helps our brain retain information. The neocortex is a vast warehouse with millions and millions of neural links, so it can be really hard to find what you've learned and stored. You're probably familiar with knowing that you know something, but you're having a hard time coming up with the information. The best way to find something in the vast warehouse of the neocortex is with an index. The hippocampus is an index of sorts. The hippocampus has only a snippet of the information, just enough to find the link to the stored information in the neocortex. The cool thing about the hippocampus is that it can find information faster if the information has been used time and time again. If the neural pathway is strong from use, the information can be retrieved much faster. This strengthening of neural pathways is called consolidation, and it explains why sometimes you get an epiphany about what you've just learned. It's like you finally filed the information and can now recall it without much effort. There are two key types of learning: declarative learning and procedural learning. Declarative learning is when sets of neural links are deposited in the neocortex vast warehouse, such as arithmetic, and can be recalled without too much difficulty. Procedural learning uses a very different system. We're not conscious of procedural learning like we are of declarative learning. Procedural learning manages things we do automatically once we've learned it, like walking while listening to music, or how many blocks there are to your next turn. It's learning through practice, and it involves things you do repetitively. The brain picks up on these patterns and stores them for easy retrieval later on. Now, let's learn how to learn. We often think that learning is a focused and concentrated effort. It turns out that research has shown that some of our best learning happens after the focus sessions, when the learner begins to relax mentally. This is when your diffuse mode starts to make new neural connections. Learners begin making progress with understanding the new concepts when they're not focused on them. It may take several sessions of focused concentration, followed by relaxed time to truly understand new material. Don't discount the time you're not actively focused, as your brain hasn't shut down. Your hippocampus is working with the neocortex on that new information, even if you're not aware of it. Research has shown us that the most effective way to learn new information is through direct instruction using a scaffolding approach, followed by student-directed practice with some spaced drill practice and testing of the material. Yes, tests can actually help you learn. Let's look at the process. Direct instruction. Direct instruction is teacher-led learning. The teacher provides information on the concept, examples, and explicitly describes the information. Ideally, direct instruction would be scaffolded into small bites of information from 10 to 25 minutes long, followed by an active exercise to practice what we just learned. Scaffolding is a manner of teaching that provides temporary support to students as they learn by breaking the information into smaller chunks of material. It helps students to gradually climb the learning ladder at their own pace and provides an opportunity for each student to work on concepts they have difficulty with. Active exercises are exercises designed for the learner to apply new information. They link this information within their brains by actively engaging with the material. For example, if a teacher has just demonstrated basic addition, the learner would then practice some addition problems on their own. The teacher would review the answers to the exercise to reinforce the learning outcomes. Some types of active exercise are drills, case studies, exercise problems such as math problems, short answer questions, group work, etc. Active exercises are the linked part of the equation to help strengthen those neural pathways. Drill to skill. It's been thought that drills are bad for learning, but it turns out that drills are awesome for learning as they reinforce neural pathways. The stronger the neural pathways, the better the recall. A student learns the material and then practices it through spaced repetitive drills. The repetitive practice engages their declarative and procedural learning systems. Testing. Yes, tests can be beneficial. Tests can be a great practice for retrieving information on your own. Tests don't have to have grades associated with them. Get into the habit of taking tests to see how much you can recall on your own. Using tests to learn can also reduce the fear and anxiety around testing, which helps for future tests as well. Don't be afraid to see what you have really learned and identify gaps to work on too. Practice is key to solid memory storage and retrieval. Learning, by beginning with the end in mind, means first learning to learn, and then applying solid principles of learning, including plenty of retrieval practice to form solid neural links in the neocortex.